Welcome to the Zirous Partner Spotlight Series. I'm Brandon Schulte, Vice President of Strategic Alliances at Zirous. In each episode, I sit down with industry leaders and technology partners to explore how we're solving real business challenges together, leveraging innovation, data, and strategy to drive tangible outcomes. Whether you're a client, a collaborator, or simply curious about what's next in the world of digital transformation, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Welcome to the Zirous Partner Spotlight Series. I'm Brandon Schulte, Vice President of Partnership at Zirous, and I'm joined today by Ramin, Ettehad, who is the co-founder of one of our newest partners, Oomnitza. Thanks for joining us today, Ramin.
No worries. Hey, Brandon, how are you?
Doing very good. Well, we had an opportunity to kind of work together the last couple months as we've been kind of exploring the partnership. But I would love to know, and if you could explain to our customers and joint customers that we're hopefully working with down the road, I would love to understand your background, why you founded Oomnitza, and then how the company's grown over the years as well.
Sure thing. Yeah. So at this point, the company's been around for about a decade, and we've really scaled from a young startup into a scale-up organization with 50 plus million in venture capital raised and working with some of the kind of best and brightest customers you could ever ask for. Companies that are fast growing, kind of Silicon Valley growth companies, all the way up to Fortune 3, 4, 5 style enterprises. So we've been really lucky and stayed diligent along this journey. The reason we started, frankly, is because my co-founders and I wanted to build an amazing enterprise software company, which is kind of a nerdy thing to want to do in your 20s. But that was our ambition, and we wanted to solve real problems in the enterprise, real complex challenges, but do them by bringing consumer-like kind of web native, internet native experiences into the enterprise. So the stuff you use in your daily life, the mobile apps and the web apps that you use and love, we wanted to bring that type of UI UX into enterprise applications, which, if you remember 10 years ago, kind of sucked to use. Kind of sucked to use all the apps that we had to use at work. So that was one of the original impetuses, and we were looking for all these mobile moments in the enterprise, and looked around IoT asset management and started building a agnostic asset system that was a full workflow and integration platform that could take an asset data from anywhere and help you do stuff with it, whether it's report on it, prove compliance with it, create an audit trail, and workflow across a bunch of life cycle or across your kind of full asset life cycle. That was the original kind of variant of the platform and product.
Yeah, I mean, I when we first met a few months ago at the Zendesk sales kickoff, I mean, I was really blown away about kind of the fact that you guys were able to connect into all the data sets, and really in a lot of ways it kind of reminded me of an iPaaS platform, but it allowed you to ultimately connect all those assets together, which I know has been a huge pain point for organizations over the years. Can you kind of talk a little bit about your value proposition in relation to your competitors, of kind of why you feel like Oomnitza is the right choice for customers and companies that are looking to manage these assets and work with service desk platforms like a Zendesk or something like that?
The core of the system is really a workflow and integration system. And on top of that, we thought to track and acknowledge the object of an IT asset. And the reason for that is IT's always been running around and doing things through service orders, work orders, tickets, and using tickets as effectively a ledger of tasks. And this is the way they've been able to scale their operation, which has worked fairly well, but still links the inputs, humans doing stuff, closely to the outputs, outcomes for the business, outcomes for end users, outcomes for production environments, whatever it might be. What we believe the more modern way of doing this is by looking at all of the data in the enterprise that aligns to the various objects, employees, configuration items, assets, all of the dependencies of those things in between, and then driving workflow automation between them, system to system, leveraging the API network that already exists, and having us be the connective tissue or the glue between those systems that's pushing and routing actions. And the reason this works really well and helps IT scale to a new level is now your inputs, the humans that are actually on the IT team, versus the outputs can be more kind of broken from each other. So a smaller team can get way more done than ever before because they're not relying on the old school model of tasks and tickets to drive outcomes, but rather rules and integrations that are driving threaded solutions. And now in the world of AI and using LLMs and all the stuff we're doing and the market kind of expects now with artificial intelligence, it allows us to streamline that even further. Because from the point of a request, from a requisition, either by an end user, another colleague, whatever it might be, all the way through to a business outcome, we're able to kind of capture and drive automation all the way through.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one thing that, is really exciting about the space is historically companies have so much invested in terms of their employees' equipment and things like that, and making sure it's managed appropriately, whether that's hardware or software. I think one of the things that, I remember from my days back in doing similar roles is just the amount of pain that you saw trying to manage that between, it's this information is in this platform, this information is in this platform, and maybe even things on spreadsheets and things like that to be able to manage that. Can you talk about like the end user that you're trying to go after, like that IT system administrator or that somebody in the finance department that's responsible for these assets, and like how you solve a specific pain point for them to make them be able to handle what honestly probably isn't one of the most fun part of their days, or tasks that they're held responsible for, and make that into an advantage for them, and give them a huge amount of value.
Yeah, totally. It's funny because they've done something right in all across all these teams, which is they've invested in really good solutions. They've invested in very good procurement systems, really good MDMs and endpoint management systems, security solutions, other financial solutions, and so on. But now doing that job that you're talking about, Brandon, which is trying to get a look and feel in real time of all of your assets and being able to manage the life cycle of those assets is really, really difficult because you're having to log in into 4, 5, 6 different systems just to pull little bits and pieces of data. Probably, like you said, throw that into a spreadsheet, do kind of like a pivot table to understand what your real world looks like. And honestly, at the time of export, your data is already out of date, right? Because we're looking at data in a spreadsheet, not looking at it in real time anymore. So what we exist to do, and the folks who we help the most are people that have this challenge, and we just overlay into those environments, and we get the right amount of data from the right systems. So we'll go integrate to a Coupa, to a CDW ordering portal, to an SHI ordering portal. We'll go look at Intune, Defender, CrowdStrike, Jamf, SolarWinds, Meraki, any system that has any context about assets, and we'll roll the data up, correlate it, normalize it, bring it into one, what we kind of think of as a golden record, to give you a 360-degree view of the business profile, IT profile, and security profile of any asset in the organization. Now, that's great for reporting and data hygiene, data integrity. But from there, now you can start driving the workflow automation that we were talking about earlier. Because you're getting a full view of the asset lifecycle before it's ever online, right? From the point of requisition or purchase all the way through to end of life, you can start doing some really powerful things around onboarding, offboarding, refresh forecasting. I mean, we have customers that, after putting us in, start saving hundreds of thousands of dollars each month on hardware spend that they otherwise would have either purchased a new asset or not recovered old assets. Like the amount of, I don't want to call it waste, but it truly is waste in hardware and software spend in the enterprise is pretty crazy. And just by creating a foundation of good data and some hygiene around your workflows around these areas, you're able to spend massive or save massive amounts of money without having too much of a kind of manual outlay anymore.
Yeah, and I think too often customers look at software as a cost and not a value. And I think you did a great job speaking to the real value that you offer. So you're able to control your costs and make sure you're actually leveraging equipment that's right, and that you're not having that loss or whatnot as well. So one of the reasons we came together was with Zendesk. So we're a Zendesk partner. You guys are a Zendesk partner. I know you just recently got so you can be sold on their paper, which is a very exciting thing, and a great value to Zendesk. But I know historically Zendesk has been known as a CX platform. And I know one of the big initiatives that we're kind of jointly working together on is this employee service initiative, to really be able to take the same level of customer service that CX platforms are known to do and bring that internally to your your internal employees when they need to request software, hardware, when they're being onboarded, when they're being offboarded, when somebody leaves. Could you kind of talk a little bit about your vision for the partnership with Zendesk in particular, and how you guys help fit that niche to, really bring best of class service to employees, not just customers externally?
Yeah, of course. I mean, Zendesk is famous for having a beautifully simple solution to use. Their products, usability, ease of use, beautiful UI, these things are fairly unmatched in the industry, especially when it comes to like IT service management. If you've looked at some of the other solutions, they're not the most fun products to use from a day-to-day perspective. So just by the ease of use perspective, they create great employee experiences and user experiences for people that are managing Zendesk itself. Um, as they've moved into this foray in IT, obviously they need great partners like yourselves and Oomnitza to power some of these functions that are newer to them in IT. So what we exist to do is to be behind the scenes driving all these workflows. So if a new ticket gets created automatically from Workday saying, user ABC is being offboarded with this termination date pending, that's going to go into an offboarding process in Zendesk, which will create a whole task list of things to do. But of those tasks, of the IT related ones, maybe 70, 80, 90% of them will automatically hook into Oomnitza and start happening in the backend. We'll start deprovisioning access from those users in Okta and the various SaaS solutions they use, like Asana, Salesforce, whatever it may be. We'll reassign the work product. So it's not enough to just shut down access. We want to know, hey, if Ramin was working on a really important project, or if Ramin had 20 opportunities in Salesforce, let's make sure to pick those up, including all the metadata around those things, the notes and projects and files, and pass them to a peer or to a manager so that IT doesn't have to get stuck resurrecting these things in a month from now from some archive, right? We're going to make sure that the user has a box sent to their home so they can put all of their gear in a box and send those back with shipping and tracking details constantly being updated. These sorts of workflows that are multi-step, multi-touch, we're going to automate as much of that as possible and orchestrate it all behind the scenes, while Zendesk on the front end is just giving updates, managing down tasks, and driving completion within the SLA window that they've provided. So beautifully simple front end with extremely powerful orchestration engine on the back end. That's the combo that Zendesk and Oomnitza are trying to create together in IT. And of course, delivered to the market by great partners like yourselves, Zirous.
Well, yeah, I love the vision that you have of your product and company and where you're going to go. Would love, like, since you took this company from concept 10 years ago to where you guys are today, what do you see the future of IT asset management, and how do you see Oomnitza playing a key role in the growth of the industry, whether that's through AI or any other technologies that we're going to see over the next 5-10 years?
Yeah, great question. I think to answer that question appropriately, you have to take a step back and look at IT and IT's changing organization and view within an enterprise. IT has been an amazingly transformational story, right? Like IT started in the basement with the facilities team, and now they have two board seats, two seats in the boardroom, right? The CIO seat and maybe the CISO seat as well. So IT's job as a function, as a line of business, has gotten more important than it's ever been before, and it's become wider than it's ever been before. As a result, they're having to support more and more business units. It's not just that they're like, okay, does the tech work? Did IT do their job or not? It's they're going to have to support the end users with world-class technology such that every end user is super productive. But they're going to have to tie closely into security to make sure all of our policies meet reality, right? And there's no delta between policy and reality. They're going to have to work closely and tie into finance such that, I mean, IT budgets are huge. Look at cloud budgets, look at infrastructure budgets, look at end user SaaS and hardware budgets. They're massive, right? So we're going to have to tie in to procurement teams and finance teams to make sure that we're kind of hand in hand delivering the best value, extremely justified, kind of rationalized budgets, and to be able to forecast appropriately to make those teams' lives easier as well. So IT is now at the center, driving kind of business outcomes for all of these other functions. And the only way they can do that effectively, going back to what I was talking about earlier, is disintegrating the inputs from the outputs. They can't just hire more bodies. That will no longer work. We want people to work in IT and be super successful, but they need to take automation, orchestration, and all of the new things they're doing with AI seriously. But AI also does not work without good data. So we need strong data foundations of assets. Assets are the cornerstone that all IT's workload happens on, right? So whether we're talking about the network, end user compute, other employee-based IT services, SaaS services, data center and cloud services, whatever it might be, these things are all asset objects, and they have a ton of metadata and attributes, and the changes in that data stack are what drive the workflows in the business now. So instead of the ticket being at the center of the equation here, we're going to put the asset at the center and then drive all of the enterprise IT workflows against those objects.
Well, great. That sounds like such an exciting future, and we're so excited to be partnered with Oomnitza at Zirous and the partnership that we have with Zendesk. For those of them that are joining us that haven't heard of Oomnitza before or yourself, where can they go to find more information about you, or do you have any socials that you'd like people to reach out to you to talk if they have this niche that they think that you can fill at Oomnitza?
Totally, yeah. Please find us on LinkedIn. Oomnitza has a dedicated page. Obviously, I have my own page, Ramin Ettehad. Feel free to message me there, connect with me there, or go to our website or YouTube page. We have a ton of content around the business and the product and everything else.
Great. Well, I really appreciate the time today, Ramin. We're so excited, like I said, to partner with you, and we look forward to a great 2025 and beyond.
All right, great. Thanks, Brandon. Cheers.
Thanks for tuning in to the Zirous Partner Spotlight series. If you enjoyed this conversation, be sure to follow us on LinkedIn. For partnership or project inquiries, please reach out. We're always exploring new ways to create impact together. Until next time, keep pushing boundaries.